Hi, I'm Natalia Nicholson, founder of Women in Digital Business, where we empower underrepresented women to thrive in the digital world. So, books are generally something that are used as lead magnets. What I'm going to do is just a quick recap on lead magnets and how we use them in the customer journey, how we use them in funnels, and then what we're going to do. Why is that page not coming up? And then we're going to talk about having an ebook as a lead magnet. So any questions that you've got as we go along, please feel free to put them into the chat. So bear with me because I'm just going to start sharing screen and so we're going to be looking at creating a book and or a ebook. They are two slightly different things and we're going to cover that today. So I just want to look at going back and really gain an understanding of what a lead magnet is. Most coaches, consultants, experts, content creators, course creators, membership owners, community owners have a book because a book is something that you can really use to establish yourself as an authority, and that's why many people use it. But it's not just the establishing yourself as a authority. A book also allows you to explain what you do, and it allows you to give a deeper understanding to your audience of exactly how you could change their life. Okay, for many people, a book is the best way to put something together because quite often, until you can explain the power of maybe a system that you've wrote, maybe a software that you've got, your coaching program, whatever it is, that digital product that you've created, be it a program, a course, a community, a group, just one-to-one sessions of your expertise as a coach or a consultant. People need to have that explained of what it is that you can do, because for all of us that are service providers, the only thing that's tangible is the results that our audience get. And for many of you, when you're starting off in the beginning, you've tested, you've proved what you've done, there's a need in the market, but you don't have this long queue of people queuing up with loads of video reviews, loads of testimonials, and social proof that actually what you're offering works. And that can be the stumbling block when you're first starting. So really you want a lead magnet, and the lead magnet is known as an irresistible offer that creates an opt-in for someone to leave their details. Now, if you come to these sessions every week, I talk a lot about authenticity and vulnerability. And as women, nobody does this like us. That's what we do. That's who we are. It's a part of our DNA. So having the ability to be able to naturally nurture in terms of what we do and naturally be able to make sure that people understand, they feel safe. We want to make sure that we're producing a lead magnet that's got the vulnerability on it. We can clearly say why they need something, and we can tap into our own personal experiences, being completely open and honest and showing that vulnerable side, because that's how you get to nurture someone, to get to know, like and trust and buy from you. Okay, makes sense? So the lead magnet, yes, it's there for you to be able to collect emails and sell, or mobile numbers, depending on what you call it, where you're located in the world. You basically want someone's telephone number and you want their email address, and the lead magnet is offering something irresistible where you get that back and you can start building out your email list or your messaging list, so you can keep having conversations with people so they then convert into a sell. And essentially that is what a lead magnet is. However, the lead magnet has to serve your audience. It can't just be things that you keep thinking about that's kind of like, we'll just do this, we'll just do a little ebook and we'll just explain this inside of it. It's only 10 pages long. We'll just do a webinar. Remember that piece of content we did? We can just use that and give it away. And where we produce so much content in our bid of growing to get to where we want, sometimes we're using that same content that we've already done, thinking, I'll just insert that. Well, your customer doesn't want to know, I'll just insert that. They need something that is going to really help them in their journey. It's really going to help them level up or be the best that they can be. In terms of what you're offering, your lead magnet should be some type of introductory offer, some type of offering that is helping them towards the pain point of what you do that's bigger, which is your core offer, which what they're going to pay for is the bigger thing. The lead magnet is just like a little taster almost, so people can see and understand what it is that you do. And books do that really well. So what we're going to do is just be really clear on a lead magnet. So like I said, a lead magnet is an irresistible offer that you present to your prospects in exchange for their contact information. So lead magnets are essential because they provide value in advance of the purchase. They build an authority, and especially when you're at the beginning of your journey and you're just starting to get the clients and sales and grow, and you want to get into that point of scaling, you have to build authority and you have to build trust. So lead magnets also help you to get prospects into your funnel. Okay, you can build a funnel out. A funnel will change your life. If you have not watched the masterclass on how a funnel changed my life, please make sure you check it out. Anybody that's in here from the community, from my team, if you could drop a link into the chat that has got a video I put together that really explains how funnel changed my life and how it can change yours, please do check it out. If you're watching this on a replay, it will be in the comment section, the link. So lead magnets are essential. They're essential within the funnel, also known as the user journey, because it's someone almost being able to get a taster before they buy. Okay, like I said, it's a way to build an authority, build trust, and just to help you move prospects to that next stage in your funnel. This share button, let's try and hide it up here somewhere. There we go. So for instance, I used to do a 5-day challenge. Access your ultimate guide in creating a fail-proof strategy to unlock floods of customers in the next 5 days without spending a dime on ads. Can you see I'm out of breath there? We'll get onto that in another masterclass. This is actually an old challenge that at the time did well, but the improvements that we made to that are absolutely mind-blowing. So I will do another lunch and learn actually about headlines, and especially headlines on sales pages and how you get people's attention. But this is an example of a lead magnet. When you play that video, there'll be a video of me explaining what it is that you've got to do in this 5-day challenge, what you're going to get out of it, but it's a taster into what I do. So a lead magnet doesn't necessarily, ladies, have to be an ebook, but that's what we're going to be exploring today. So I'll just quickly want to look at the different types of lead magnets for those of you that are on here thinking, a book, a webinar, maybe a worksheet, and you're not quite sure. We're going to go through them and then we're going to take a bit of a deeper dive into books, okay? So books can come in different forms, by the way. You've got a fully fledged book, you've got an ebook, you've also got things like reports and guides, okay? So reports and guides, work really well, like the example on the screen, free New Orleans guidebook. So maybe you're visiting New Orleans and, you want a guidebook, you want to navigate yourself around. So maybe within your funnel, what it is that you actually sell is maybe a tour in New Orleans that you want people to book onto. So a great lead magnet would be offering some type of report or mini guide that's completely free of the things, visitor's guide of what you can do in New Orleans. Make sense? It might be that it's a cheat sheet handout. Cheat sheets were definitely really big, probably about I'd probably say about 7 years ago. They still work, if that makes any sense. But cheat sheets and handouts need to have a point. So you can have a cheat sheet, how to create 50 prompts for ChatGPT, for you to be able to get your mindset in the right place. I don't know. It all depends on what you do. But you've got cheat sheets and handouts is a great way for you to collect leads and give something authentic away. Toolkits and resources. We quite often give out playbooks. We sometimes give out swipe files of email templates. So also another thing that's great for those of you that are coaches, consultants, and your product is not tangible, a good thing about a toolkit and resource could be that you add something tangible as your lead magnet. So it could be that it's January and you might offer an annual, why is the word on the tip of my tongue and not coming out? When I say it, you're going to be like, damn, Natalia. Planner. See, it could be that you're going to offer your audience a planner for the year and they can join your program and put their goals together so they can start planning and turning those goals into reality. Make sense? So tools, kits and resources. Some of you might be selling a digital products. Maybe it's softwares. Big thing in the software industry, software sold as services, we know it as, is that freemium level, that free version of the software. Think about, apps like Canva, you've got a complete free version. Don't know how many of you use Slack. We use the free version. As we grow as a business, we're going to need more of that, which means we then go on to the paid. But that is the model of their business. You've got video trainings, whether you want to call that webinars, masterclasses, workshops, taster sessions, whatever the terminology you're going to use. Video training is a great way for you to really be able to connect with your audience. Discounts on free shipping if you're e-commerce, there's still a lead magnet. A certain amount in terms of money, a certain amount in terms of percentage off your first order, opt-in, boom, you've collected the details. Maybe it's an assessment, it's a quiz. Find out if you've got what it takes to be an entrepreneur. Find out what type of entrepreneur you are. Something that assesses, something that gives a quiz. Design materials or catalogs. Maybe, you need to put everything you've got into a catalogue, like an IKEA. Argos to this day still do it, where they've got catalogue that features their products in there. Even though we can go online, does that make any sense? It could be for your business, it's catalogues. There's so many different things for you to start thinking of. But what we are going to look at today, ladies, is ebooks. Okay, so we've established today what a lead magnet is. We've established where it fits into your funnel, which is the subscription part. It's a great way for you to build leads. But it's got to be authentic, and it can only be authentic by you being completely vulnerable, honest and open about what it is that your lead magnet can do for someone. And like I said, an ebook or a book is a great way to explain something. So you keep hearing me say an ebook or a book. All right, let's come out of here. We're going to go into a whole fresh new tab. There we go. So I keep saying an ebook and a book. So let's start with an ebook. A book's a pretty big thing to do, just to let you know. It's not a small thing. For those of you that are thinking about it, I'm not trying to put you off, because a book is evergreen. A book is what can really put you on the map for authority. A book is a fantastic way to have leads from a golden hen that just keeps giving leads almost. It's definitely one of the top three. In terms of funnels, I'm always going to love a webinar funnel, and I've covered that last week. So if any of you missed that, please do check out the tutorial from last week. But you keep hearing me talk about an ebook and a book. So I'm going to go with an ebook. An ebook can be a lot more quicker to create. Number one, you can use AI. Okay, so you can use things like ChatGPT. ChatGPT has a plugin from AIRPM. There's loads of plugins that you can plug into there. But essentially, even if you had ChatGPT, you could write a book. I do advise that you get the paid version of ChatGPT. Once you go for the paid version, which is just £20 a month, I promise you're not going to go back. It's also machine learning, and it's going to store everything. So it's just going to get better and better and better at helping you to write. You can also do things like go onto Fiverr and find maybe a ghostwriter or someone to write for you, or you can go onto sites like Upworks. So if we go here, I'm going to just show you where you're going to start. So if we go into Fiverr and then we type ebook, you're going to see a number of sellers that come up. Kindles, this is all formatting. So even when it comes to your book cover, designing it, formatting it for Amazon if you're going to sell it on there, this is a great place to come. And as you can see, prices are quite affordable for this type of thing. The book formatting. I will design a pro PDF lead magnet for your ebooks and booklets. So this is mainly design. What we can put is ebook, and let's use the word writing. And all of a sudden, you have got here different people that will ghostwrite your book. Because really, ladies, I'm going to be honest with you, you can't get someone to write your own book. You need to write your own first version, and especially if it's going to be based on your story and a why. Does that make any sense? And you also want to think about maybe having a system. So a system can work really well if you've got an acronym, for instance. So you might have an acronym for, I don't know, WIN, Women Innovation Nubian. I don't know where that came from, but you get what I'm trying to make. Yeah, I know you all know what an acronym is, but an acronym can be a great way to create a system, and then that's how you would then chunk out your book, is using is using that. Does that make any sense? It could be that you'll be like, no, Nat, acronyms not for me. I don't want to break it down in that way, but you have to break it down in the steps. It needs to be clear and have steps of getting from point A to point B and all the steps that go in between point A and point B. You have to have that hook, story and offer and format that in a form of a book. If you go back to not last week's, the week before, where I spoke about storytelling, this becomes still relevant, just to let you know, for actually writing a book. Even though the hook, story and offer might be for content, it's a lot shorter. You need to get used to being an authority and being an expert in whatever area you are. And you need to be able to talk about what that thing is that you do and your gift is for 5 minutes, 5 hours or 5 days. Okay, I know that I can talk about funnel building. I can do it in boom 5 minutes and break it down. I can do a whole week workshop in teaching. I do a 6-week workshop now of teaching you every single layer that goes into building a funnel. If I wanted to do a short mini version, if I was on an interview, I can talk it up, down, across, because that's my area of expertise, and you've all got an area of expertise. So the book allows you to fully explain something, but what you don't want to do is be jumping around over the place. And by having some type of book editor, that's going to help you make sure that your book is clear and concise and has that beginning, middle and end. It has that Disney scene that I've been speaking about of, you know, introducing the characters, the conflict and how you overcome the conflict. So your book needs to take that format, and you can get someone that's going to help you. They'll even provide you with a structure. You know, you really want to make sure you find 3 people that are in your profession. They've got a whole load of reviews. Like I saw someone here, for instance, that had, I think, did I see 1K or did I just make that up? They had over 1,000 reviews. This person here has got 245 reviews. I want to look for people that have got an awful lot of reviews. They can give me examples of their work. You know, this is a book's a big thing. So you really want to find someone decent. Does that make any sense? You've also got a sub-site called Upworks. Fiverr, you're going to find more of your more cheap and cheerful people on there. Upworks, obviously it's a freelancer site, but a lot more goes into setting an account up, so sometimes you find the quality can be better. Fiverr is going to give you that cost effectiveness, but be clear on what region that you're going to be buying from. It's imperative if you're writing a book, it has to be someone that fluently speaks English and has got the English grammar in there. Yes, we've got AI that will remove, you know, if you're from the UK, for example, as you know, UK audiences can't stand when you spell like Americans. You know, where it says analyze, there's a Z. UK audience is very hot on grammar and very hot on spelling. They can be very unforgiving about it. So you need to know that if you're anything like me and writing and spelling is not one of your strong points, if I've got a ghostwriter, it has to be someone that's 10 out of 10. It has to be someone that's written books, knows how to write them, understands who I am. So making sure you have meetings explaining about who you are, what the book, what you want the book for, what you're trying to achieve with the objective of the book. I hope you're all writing notes down, ladies. How you're going to start, you know, you want the person writing the book to understand implicitly who you are. You want them to understand inside out who you are and what the objective of the book is. Okay, but you still need to give them a version of the book. So whether you're going to use a site like Fiverr where you can get really affordable sellers, like I said, make sure that they speak fluent English. Make sure you've seen examples of their work. Make sure they've written books within your category type before. You know, make sure they've got the... you want to make sure that their reviews are real. You want to speak to at least maybe 3 people that they've used. So you can either do that on Fiverr, or you can create an account on Upworks where you might even put a brief out and freelancers can apply for it. You might write your book yourself. Absolutely nothing wrong with that. Okay, and there's some more in-depth sessions that we're doing in terms of what that looks like. But ChatGPT, guys, is going to become your friend. Okay, it really is. Oh, sorry, I just wanted a new chat. So again, you can put what it is that you want to, you can type everything out and you can put it into ChatGPT and ask it to rewrite it as a book. This is the title of the book. Again, tell ChatGPT what is the objective, who is the audience that will be reading your book. Make sure you give it as much details as humanly possible in terms of who, what, where, when, how. If you could answer those 5 questions and you can give ChatGPT all of that, they're going to be able to write a great framework based on what you give in and type it. So I wouldn't suggest that you type it straight into the prompt and what you can see on the screen, by the way, right now. You'd want to type it into a Word document that you can copy and paste, because anything can go wrong on an internet page. Okay? But if you're anything like me and you hate writing, another little tip, I use an app called Speech Notes. So there's loads of, you can just type in dictation apps into Google, by the way. But this is a free one that I've used for years. There's probably some that are better out there. I've been using this for a long time. And we're going to start dictation. And you can see if I press the microphone, I'm speaking now. And can you see what I'm saying to you is coming up on the screen? So today we are looking at eBooks. And we're looking at books that you can use as a lead magnet to get more subscribers to your email list, your cell phone or mobile list, so you can keep nurturing leads. And for those of you that are watching, can you see it's typing exactly what I'm saying? Let me stop the microphone. So you could have chapter 1, you could have intro, and you could just talk it all out. Even if you make a mistake, it doesn't matter. Oh, what I mean is just talk like you're talking to a best friend. It's going to dictate it. And now what you're going to do is copy and paste that. And then you might just put something like, please write the first chapter of my book called By Me using the dictation below. What is it when someone's watching you always spell wrong? Using the dictation, please write the first chapter using the dictation below and using these key facts. And then you might list down all the things you want ChatGPT to know, like please write in first person as me. Please write with UK grammar and spelling. Please note my target audience is 25 to 45. Please note that this book's going to be available on Amazon. Please note this book is an ebook and only available electronically. You're giving all the things to ChatGPT that it needs to consider when it's writing that first chapter. And then literally, once you've prompted it all that information, copy and paste what you put in the dictation, and ChatGPT will write that first chapter of the book. Okay? It would even put, after you've written the book, that's when you probably want to do the contents page, because it will chunk the book out into its areas of content. So there's a lot of tools, ladies, when it comes to writing a book that wasn't actually there 5 years ago. When I wrote my first ebook, there was no AI to help me. Okay, so now you can knock out a book a lot quicker than what you could before. So as we're edging to the end, what I want to look at is, okay, so Natalia, you've been going on about the ebook, but you've not clearly told me the difference between the ebook and the book. So an ebook is, there we go, PLR me. An ebook, you could use maybe a white label book. An ebook is something that's a lot smaller. So you could write it from scratch, doing exactly what I've just explained to you, using AI and putting it together. You've got the option of maybe finding a ghostwriter. You can use dictations to actually speak it through if you're not really a typer like me. If you are, all good. You can use AI like ChatGPT to actually write and put the book together. But an ebook is something that's a lot shorter. It's not generally over it. It's not over 100 pages. It's a much more of a smaller book. It's still a book, but it's much more of a smaller book, where an actual book that you're going to write from scratch and you're actually going to get published, that is a lot more bigger, meatier and weightier. You know, you're talking about now at least 250 pages. So they're very different, okay? So this is a site called PLR, which is private label rights. So this will sell you product, white label, and then you can then just redesign or alter as you see fit and give it away or sell it as something that's your own. So it's a white label. You can just attach your own brand to it. So if we look at, okay, let's say you're a coach that deals with helping people with anxiety and depression, for example. I'll go with the first thing that I've seen. So we've got products here, feature content bundles. So what have we got here? Reports, light in the darkness. We've got articles. We've got worksheet, action guides, light in the dark, executive summary, So we've got loads of different articles coming up here that you can use for content that are all white labeled, and you might just drop your logo in, make some design changes, and bish bosh bang, you know, you've now got 7 tips for coping with social anxiety like a pro. Okay, so ebook bundle. There we go. 9 products. Anxiety handbook and ebook. So this is a package. So this is an ebook. You get a fact sheet, a self-assessment, anxiety symptoms, a worksheet, a checklist, and a tracker. So imagine that you've got, oh my gosh, what is going on there? To my mouse, it's just ultra sensitive. Yes, I do want to exit. Sorry about that, guys. So you've got a whole load of products here that make up a whole bundle. Okay, a bundle of things that you can now give this away as a lead magnet. So now you've got an anxiety handbook, you've got a fact sheet, you've got self-assessment going on here, you've got worksheet, checklist, and you've also got a tracker for your weekly thoughts. This is a whole bundle to help you with your anxiety. Can you see how something like this would attract someone? They can kind of try you out. But now what we've got is we've got to rebrand this, and we also want to go through it, and you can add in your own story. So here, what you might do is use just a ChatGPT or AI, and you might rewrite, put some chapters in at the beginning that tells you your story of what you went through as anxiety as a coach, and why you're an anxiety coach, and why you felt your mission was so important. And then you could go into all the tips that's in the handbook on the white label. Have a new design front cover, boom, bang, you've got an ebook. So you can literally do it as simply and quickly. When I say simply and quickly, to a point, it's not that simple, but it's pretty straightforward. Or you're going to do the whole shebang and write a published book that's got the ability to be New York's bestseller. And you're going to write a book. You're going to find that ghostwriter, and you're really going to write a book of your story, your system, what you do. And, you know, that's where you need to really, I would suggest, work with someone that you're going to really write a book that represents yourself, your brand, and a story that's impactful and that can change people's lives. You know, that's the book. The ebook is, you know, here's my story, here's advice, here's how I am, here's how I can help you, and it's content, and it serves the purpose of you having a lead magnet. A book, a published book, isn't just a lead magnet. It's really what puts you on the map in terms of having that published book that now you've got the possibility of really selling, giving it visibility, and generally getting on things like New York Times books. What you want to do to get on the bestseller books is not impossible at all, especially for categories like business that aren't really big categories where you've got loads of books and submissions. If you wrote a fiction book, whoo, the competition you're going to be up again to get recognised by New York Times is going to be a lot. But by entering into a category that has got a lot more low visibility and not much as many people as applied to as fiction, that's where you want to be, because you're actually going to get seen and noticed, and you could be that #1 New York Times bestseller, if that makes any sense. So you've got a book that you're going to pour your heart and soul out into that's published, that really you want someone that understands how to write a book to work with, unless you do it yourself. Or you've got the ebook, which is a simple version of the book where you could write the whole thing yourself. It's never going to be no more than really 100 pages. It could start from 15 pages to 100. Or you can even use sites like PLR, which are white labeled content, and have a look around PLR. You'd be surprised on what you could find as a lead magnet full stop outside of ebooks. And just as we wrap up for today, as we're coming up to we've just gone past 12:30, here is a copy of my book, Straight Talk to Selling Online, 5 must-have blueprints to build a profitable digital business while working 9 to 5. So I bought a private label ebook, and that ebook was profitable digital businesses that you can have and how you build your business up while working 9 to 5. So this is when we really used to target people that are in a job, want to start their own business, and want to leave work to start that business. Our audience has changed somewhat since then and evolved, because back then we had funnels, but they were nowhere near as sophisticated as what we see now. So this is a book that I've put together, and what I've done, published 2020, could you imagine? What I've done is I have put together, these are the bits that I've added. Who is Natalia? My story. Why I became a coach. The villain, get rich quick schemes. The first blueprint, mindset. Second blueprint, money. Third blueprint, marketing. fourth blueprint, management, and the fifth is mastery. So all of this is actually content right the way up to part 5, chapter 7. This is all content that I've written myself. So this is all about me. There was no AI when I wrote this in 2020, so I got just a ghostwriter to edit it and proof it all. Didn't do much edits, it was just more of a proofread and making sure the structure was there. It's not until I get to chapter 8 that this is actually the PLR part. Mastery, mental health, creating your home office, working remotely, digital norms, a digital lifestyle, the program. These are all things that the book had, and I still went through it and made sure that that was relatable to me and the brand message that I had. Nowadays, ladies, you've got ChatGPT, so you don't even have to do as much as this work, because you could easily put the book into ChatGPT and say, please rewrite it based on my customer avatars. Within your brand guideline, you should all have customer avatars or empathy maps of understanding who your audience is. If ChatGPT knows who those personas are and you tell ChatGPT who they are, you might just upload your brand guidelines or document. Guess what it's going to do? It's going to rewrite your white label products in a style and language that pertains to you and your audience. So this is a book that I've put together. Okay, so have I downloaded it? I'll pop it into the chat once I stop sharing for any of you who want to, maybe you want to read my story, maybe you just want to use it as an example, but I will pop it in the chat for you. And if you're watching this on a replay, we will pop it into the comment section on YouTube where you've got the replay. So hopefully, ladies, that's given you a much better idea of how and where you can start in terms of putting an ebook together, and also just lead magnets in general, and how you're really going to be able to level up and make sure you got those leads and you can convert them into sales. So as usual, I've gone a little bit over, but we did start 5 past. Got a few questions in the chat, so let me answer those. Natasha Williams says Upwork works perfectly for me. Yeah, it depends on what you're after. Upwork is really great, especially for something like writing the ebook or even helping you write your own book. What I would say about Upwork is that there are freelancers that have to upload their own profiles. I think the quality of people you find on there is better than Fiverr, but it's not to say that Fiverr doesn't have that quality of people, because they do. You've just got to sift more. But what you can do with Fiverr is write a brief and see who replies to it. But Fiverr probably is, I would say, cheaper than Upwork. So also it depends on your situation. It might be that you open an account up with both, you meet people, because when it comes to a book, you want to work with the right person, if you want me to be honest with you, without a shadow of a doubt. So thanks for that, Natasha. Danielle said, what's a good launch strategy for my ebook to make sure people see it? To be honest with you, it says Danielle's, but I think that might be your surname. If it is, I apologize if I've got that wrong. To be honest with you, I would definitely say a book funnel. You want to create a funnel to make sure you're pushing people very intentionally to making sure that they give you your, they buy or sign up for a copy of your book. And books are a great way, by the way, to liquidize your marketing. What I mean by that, books are a great way that you could offer, you could add in order bump and say, I'm giving you a copy of my free book, but if you pay $4.99, you can get the audio version. Makes sense? Some of you, even though it's a lead magnet, you might decide, hey, I'm charging for my book. It could be pre-relaunch special, get my book for 99p. Remember, for you to make anyone feel comfortable enough to take their credit or debit card out of their pocket and put their card numbers into one of your pages or payment gateways, trust is being built up, and more than likely they're buying from you again. So in terms of a launch strategy, it's hard to say what that launch strategy would look like, not knowing your business, what channels your audience is on, where are you getting your traffic from at the moment. There's a lot of things. But honestly, Danielle, please watch the video about the funnels that's in this chat. Community team, if you could just post it in the chat again. Actually, it's not in the chat at all. If you could just post the VSL page for the masterclass that I've put about funnels, Danielle, you would find that really useful in terms of understanding exactly how a funnel would work in terms of your book. Book funnels are very powerful because what you can do is push someone to a video and all you're doing is explaining what's in the book, but it's another format of content. And with books, you do need to explain what the book will do. I don't know if that makes any sense. I think about even if someone says, oh my God, I read a really, really good book. You need to read it. It did X, Y, and Z for me. you still need some type of context to make you go to a book, because books are still quite saturated, if that makes any sense, with the amount of books that are out there that we just read in general, celebrity books, memoirs, bios, fiction books. Does that make sense? Books is something that, you know, a lot of us still do read, or we listen. So in terms of your launch, you definitely want a funnel to push the traffic to make sure that people sign up for the book, buy the book, upsell to the audio. But you're also going to need a strategy to have to push people into your funnel and your prospects. So make sure you watch the video, and the Funnel Queen program that we've got would be really, it'd be a good place for you to attend, so you can learn how to build out that funnel and how to drive traffic. So you've got a launch plan there. But essentially, you want to launch on the platform that your audience hangs out on, and the platform that you've got the most traction on, that your audience is at. And like I said, then you would build the funnel out and push the traffic from those channels into the funnel. Isabella said, is it better to write alone or with a coach like you to help guide you through the process? To be fair, Isabella, I did work with a coach, if I was to be completely transparent. It's a lady called Michelle Watson, actually. And I would say I wouldn't work with just any coach, if you want me to be honest with you. I'd work with a coach that specialises in ebooks. Do you see what I mean? Yes, I am a coach. I understand clearly about messaging. I understand exactly what would need to go into your book, but you want that vulnerability that I spoke about at the beginning to really come out. Does that make any sense? And you really want your story to be hard-hitting and really powerful. You want it to be the type of story that people read and they're like, you know what, I want to be how she is. I want to get to that level, or I need that help that she's offering. You want to actually connect with that empathy. So having a coach can be great. And I think it depends. It's also down to cost, because there's a lot of things that we've all got to invest in to get our business to where we need to get it to. So it gets to a point, it's like, okay, can I afford to do this or can I not? In some instances, Isabella, it can be a case, can you not afford to do this? So make sure you reach out to us, even via email, if you want to have a recommendation of a coach. Or to tell you the truth, Isabella, I would start off with interviewing some people who are ghostwriters, because you will find if they've got a really extensive experience and background, they would be able to coach you through the process. And if they're ghostwriting it with you, it's like you're getting two in one. So me personally, that is where I would start. Alice has said, how can I use my ebook to build my email list and grow my digital platform? Alice, that is what you want to be using the ebook for, period, point blank. And that's why having a book funnel is going to do that. It's going to create leads and leads and leads. Once you've got leads, you need to start nurturing those leads. You've got to make sure that you're staying connected to people through email, or if you collected their mobile or cell numbers, even better, how you can connect with them, like on WhatsApp, for example, as well as the email. And what you want to do is keep constant momentum through the email. So once you've had an ebook, you want to make sure you're emailing and messaging people. Have you read it yet? Giving those first reminders. Then you want to support them through it. What did you find interesting? Did anybody remember this bit? This part mixed with this worksheet I'm about to give you can really help you catapult. So you want to make sure your email content is 80-20. It's always got to be 80% content, 20% sales. You don't want to be selling. Okay, so a book is a great way to build an email list, because if you give it away free for every person that signs up, that's your leads coming in. But if you've got leads coming in, you have to know and understand how to nurture them, so you can keep nurturing them until they turn into leads, rather than just blasting them with sales emails all the time and then losing them and nothing converts. So again, I think for you, on a serious note, the funnel mastery program would be great, because you would learn how to build a funnel out based around your book, and your funnel is designed to keep bringing you leads and to convert. Emily has said, how do I make sure my lead magnet converts? In a simple answer, Emily, you have to make sure it's aligned with your audience. You have to understand your value proposition. You have to understand that the story in your book helps it specifically all your customer segments. Your customer segments can see themselves within that story. Once you can do that, that's when, as a book as a lead magnet will really start to convert. It needs to solve a problem that they've got. Makes sense? Your offering that people are paying for will initially solve that. So your lead magnet is an introduction of explaining to someone what it is that your main thing, your main product, main program, whatever it is that you sell, that main thing that you sell, Why is that going to help people? Why is that going to shift bringing someone from point A to point B? Make sense? And being able to really break that down and explain how whatever it is that you've created works and why they should use it and where they're going to bring it to. If you can clearly explain in your messaging what the book is going to do for someone, does that make any sense? Like the 4-day week, it was giving people back more time. Miracle Morning, it was making people more productive and they achieved their goals and their dreams. Think of the big books and what they do. Does that make sense? So to make sure your lead magnet converts, you need to have something that really locks in terms of the prospect. It does something for them. It's like, oh my gosh, I need this. And if you can then prove whatever it is that you do bigger is the one thing that they're going to have to really get into where they want to be, that lead magnet will convert into what your core offer is. And also the funnel that's wrapped around it. I've seen people have some great ebooks and some great products, but when they're marketing it, they're marketing it on TikTok, which is an awareness channel, for example. And it's mainly Gen Z. Don't get me wrong, I'm on TikTok, and actually TikTok's got a lot more audiences other than just Gen Z. But if I'm going to start launching my ebook as a lead magnet, and I want it to convert, and the target audience is, 45 plus, for example, which you can find on TikTok, but then I'm on TikTok with the book doing all these trends and challenges that don't relate or have anything to do with my book, the funnel's going to have holes in and it's not going to convert. So it's not just about having a great book and making sure that it solves a problem in your customer segment's lives. It's also making sure that you are marketing that book and you're pushing the right type of traffic to that funnel. Does that make sense? To put your customer in a journey that's actually going to convert. So when you say, how do I make sure my lead magnet converts? There's no one way direct answer, if you want to be honest with you. It's all going to be based and built around your funnel strategy plan. And that funnel strategy plan should have your customer segments at the heart of it. So you're quite clear on how it is that you're going to reach them. The minute your marketing plan isn't correct, you can have the greatest book in the world, the greatest product in the world. It doesn't matter. You're not going to sell because you're not reaching the right people with the right message at the right time. Make sense? And you haven't created a journey where you're pushing them from one touch point to another, and each touch point is empowering them, is making them love you more and more because they're getting to know, like, and trust you, because that's what makes people buy from you again and again and again. Okay? Oh, no problem. You are more than welcome, Malaware. Right, we are 15 minutes over now. The questions have been absolutely brilliant. I can see the links not in the chat. Bear with me. I'm going to, to those of you that have not watched, sorry, I've got really bad hay fever, itchy ear. For those of you that have not watched, here we go, the Funnel Mastery Masterclass, please do watch it because that is going to help you absolutely loads. It really will. So just bear with me. I'm just putting the link into the chat now. Here is the page. Let me copy that URL. Let me come back to you. Right, it is now in the chat. So ladies, please do log on. Please do log on. It's really worthwhile watching. It will put it into perspective when I keep talking about the funnel and the leads and how everything works. It will just put it all into context. And there's a waitlist page. I suggest you join it. There's loads of people on it. There's no way everyone can even go through to the next cohort. So please make sure that you add your name to the waitlist page if it's something that you're interested in, because we'll be holding a webinar soon of going through exactly what the program, actually we might do it as a lunch and learn, going through exactly what is entailed in the program week on week, what you're going to get out of it. And that's going to kick off at some point in May. So it's a 6-week program where you'll work with me to build out your funnel and actually build it in the software to take out all the tech overwhelm, make sure you've got the messaging, make sure you're left with a really slick, well-oiled machine that you can use the platforms that you promote on to push traffic in, and it will nurture someone through a whole entire journey. So if it's something of interest once you've watched the video, make sure that you join the waitlist. Right, ladies, I'm going to love you and leave you today because I have gone way over today, but love the questions in the chat. It was really great to see you all. Make sure you get that link out the chat right now, because this call, what I'll do is I'll leave. I won't end it, so it'll still be there. Ladies, happy lunch and learn, happy lunchtime, and I shall see you next week, Tuesday.